This is my Kar 88, a shortened cavalry version of the Gewehr 88 commission rifle. It was sporterized when I got it, though it was pretty nicely done. I restored it to the military configuration as much as I could, grafting on the fore end of the stock, though the wood isn't the best of a match. I made the nose cap before I had a milling machine. I made it on the lathe, then shaped by welding and grinding. It's not perfect, but it works. The buttstock and butt plate had been slimmed down, which I could not fix. But the sporter rifle did have a good receiver, with its original markings. Original bolt, with bolt head. Though the cocking piece had holes drilled in it, maybe for a peep sight. The rifle had an intact rear sight, again lightly modified though. And barrel jacket, which is deceptively more complex than a shortened Gewehr 88 jacket. More on this at the end of the video. So while this rifle had been sporterized, I was able to bring it back to nearly its original configuration. That's not the case for all sporters, or is it? This is my new Kar 88. While the one shown before had been nicely sporterized, I don't know what Bubba was thinking when he modified this one. The nose cap and barrel jacket were removed, and the fore end of the stock cut down. The rear sight is very crude. It looks like it was shaped out of lead, then soldered onto the end of the barrel jacket, which actually has been cut down, not removed. The front sight is nearly as bad. A large block crudely soldered to the barrel. And just like the first carbine, this one had its butt plate and stock slimmed down, though significantly more so. The recess for the sling loop on the side of the stock is completely gone. While this carbine has been crudely modified, is it worth saving? The action seems to be in good, unmodified condition, with the original spoon bolt handle and bolt head, which is often missing from commission rifles. The receiver hasn't been drilled and tapped for a scope mount, and the markings are intact. This was made in 1893 by the Erfurt Arsenal, and it's S and dot marked. It also has an NM marking under the model designation. It has matching numbers on the receiver, and what's left of the barrel jacket. 23 is also on the unmodified cocking piece. The matching numbers continue on the bolt body, and even the screws, though it's hard to see. And finally the bore is okay. This is without running a brush or patches through it. It should clean up better. So is this worth saving? You already know the answer. Of course it is. Or it's at least worth a try. I'll get it disassembled to take a closer look at the barreled action. The end of the barrel jacket is this seam here, and it was cut off in front of the rear sight. I'm not sure if solder ended up inside or not. It should unscrew easily enough. I'll give it a try. No, that's not budging, and I don't want to force it too much. The solder on the rear sight probably leaked between the barrel jacket and the barrel, and it's helping to hold it on. I'll use a torch to melt the solder, but with this area being close to the receiver, I'll be careful to not add too much heat. It's still not budging. I'll remove the sight itself since the barrel jacket isn't moving. Looks like the top of the jacket was cut away, and the sight directly attached to the barrel. So it was definitely interfering with the jacket being removed. But now that the top is open, I'll peel away the sides to see if any solder got inside. It looks clean inside. I'll try again to unscrew it. Then once more with the torch. There it is. And to think I was just about to give up. I was thinking of trying a pipe wrench on the part next to the receiver if this didn't work. But it's always better to try less destructive methods first, if you can call this less destructive. The receiver isn't too hot, but I'll give it a few minutes to cool down before handling. I can't quite take the barrel jacket all the way off just yet. I'll have to remove the front sight next. Since it's located at the end of the barrel, I don't need to be as careful with the torch. It's off. I'll just wait again until this cools. Now that both sights have been removed, we can take a closer look at how they were made. The rear sight wasn't attached to the barrel jacket. Instead, the stub was cut open at the top, and this copper base plate soldered directly to the barrel. Then this rear sight, which I think is made from lead, was soldered onto that. The front sight had this wrapped around the barrel. I think it's a copper plumbing pipe, which was dovetailed on top. Then this copper sheet was wrapped around it. And finally this piece of copper for a front sight. Like I said, both were very crude. I can't imagine an actual gunsmith building sights in such a way. But luckily both areas of the barrel are unmodified. Actually, there's 2 small notches on the top of the barrel at the front, but those will be covered. There is rust where the barrel jacket was, however. A few minutes with 4/0 steel wool should remove the bright orange. There's one more thing I want to cover in this video. If I'm going to be restoring this rifle, I want it to be a shooter, which means it needs to have a decent bore left. It looked dirty before. Let's see if it can clean up some. And that cleaned up pretty well. Sporter rifles usually have good bores, so I wasn't too concerned. Now that I know this rifle is worth saving, it leaves the question, why? Why was it in this state? Why sporter as an already short and handy rifle? And why do so in such a crude manner? I don't think we'll ever know the answers. But moving on to a more important question, how will I restore this? Other than the barreled action, the only parts here worth saving are the trigger guard and magazine assembly, bolt, action screws, and butt plate screws. The stock is trash. It's been modified to the extent that I can't simply graft on a forend to make it full length. So this is all I have from which to make a complete carbine. Luckily, some parts are interchangeable with the Gewehr 88 long rifle, namely the butt plate and stock crossbolt. All other parts, though, are specific to the Kar 88 and are very hard to find. However, I did luck out, and I found a Kar 88 barrel jacket. Unlike the Gewehr 88 jacket, it's tapered. It's larger at the rear, and tapered down its length to the front. I was racking my brain trying to find a way to add a slight taper to a thin-walled steel tube when this popped up and I jumped on it. It screws onto the action. But it will need some work getting it to index to the correct orientation. This post needs to face straight down. Then there's the matter of the missing rear sight. Maybe I can make a simplified version of the original sight, or adapt a different sight. The front sight isn't original either, however that can be easily replaced. As for the other parts, I'm not sure yet. I know I'll likely have to make a stock, maybe the band and nose cap as well. But that's all for this time. Thanks for watching.